Netflix gets the cash out for Knives Out. Strap on a jetpack for a buried treasure included with Xbox Live Gold. And honestly, I can't even keep up with all the awesome stuff on Game Pass. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown, everybody. I hope everybody is doing great. I noticed that Robert Tolan is the very first one into the chat. He says, yo, so you get the dedication today, my friend. But first, let us thank our good friends at the Gaming Stadium. They are Canada's leader in online esports tournament facilitation. They've got tournaments going on every weekend. You don't want to miss out on the action. They're doing lots of fun stuff over there. You can join up with them at tgs.gg. And please, when you do, let them know that Vic from The Rundown sent you. All right? Okay, we've got a lot of stuff to get into today, some surprises for you as well. So let's get started with Robert Tolan's Rundown. First of all, there's some big news going on in the world of Netflix out there. They're making a huge play, like all of their plays recently, and they've acquired the distribution rights for Rian Johnson's Knives Out verse. Can we call it that? They've done a huge deal for $450 million and picked up Knives Out 2 and 3. And Daniel Craig's quirky character, the private detective Benoit Blanc, will return. So he's got a new franchise to gravitate towards after No Time to Die and after he's kind of left the James Bond world for good, which is what he keeps saying that he's going to do. Now, the Knives Out 1 was a massive hit around the world. Didn't cost a lot of money, and it made a lot of people very, very happy. I loved the movie when I reviewed it, and it was also a little bit of a, Rian Johnson sort of getting back to what he was capable of after, not the debacle of The Last Jedi, but certainly there was a lot of skepticism about him because a lot of people weren't that happy with The Last Jedi, upon reflection. It still made tons of money, but it didn't make as much money as Lucasfilm and Disney were probably hoping that it did. And you guys know the story about The Last Jedi, but what's happening around Star Wars and Rian Johnson is, as of right now, the idea is that he is still going to come back and do a trilogy with Star Wars. And that was reported by USA Today, I think just like a month and a half ago. I talked about it here on The Rundown. But this is such a massive deal, and it really kind of puts Knives Out kind of front and center in Rian Johnson's life. And it keeps Daniel Craig busy because he's going to be the recurring character. I don't know if too many of the other cast members from the first Knives Out will be called back into action. But it makes for a very fun experience for a filmmaker like Rian Johnson, because these are whodunits, and it allows him to go off into, casting rooms all over the world and say, well, I want this actor and that actor and that actor, and he can have like casts of just amazing people. And with Daniel Craig sort of as the headliner. The thing is, though, the first Knives Out only cost about $40 million, and so this deal is so huge. They're going to be a lot more expensive, and now they really have to be good. But I've always been a fan of Rian Johnson. I think he's a great filmmaker, and I actually think that he made a really solid sci-fi film, or at least big chunks of a cool sci-fi film with The Last Jedi. It just felt so incongruous from what The Force Awakens set up. But we know that's a long story. How about free games coming from Xbox? Xbox announced the Xbox games with gold today. These are the ones that are going to be coming out through April. And Dark Void is included as part of the Xbox Live Gold collection for April, along with Vikings, Wolves of Midgard, Truck Racing Champions, and Hardcore Uprising, which is a killer Contra-alike. Very cool game. Now, Dark Void is a bit of an interesting one because it was developed to be kind of the start of a cool new franchise, kind of like an Uncharted meets The Rocketeer, or a Gears of War meets The Rocketeer, but it had some problematic controls. But it was still such a cool idea. I've talked about the game as a buried treasure before, and in fact, instead of me recounting that, now I know this one's going to be a little bit of a controversial decision because not everybody likes this game, including me. I didn't really dig it when it first came out, but there's something about Dark Void that makes me keep thinking about this title and thinking about all that could have been. It was a shooter that took place on the ground and in the air. You had a jetpack, so it was almost like the Rocketeer mixed with Gears of War, and that speaks to me. It still does, and I wish someone would pick up some of the threads and some of the concepts that were first kind of pushed out there with this title and make us a really great game. There are moments of really fantastic design in this title, and I think that's what makes me think about Dark Void as often as I do. I also have, they had some great swag with that game, so I have this really cool satchel with the Dark Void kind of logos and stuff on it. It's actually the Tesla logos, because you actually meet up with Nikola Tesla in this crazy story where you're a pilot that's flying over the Bermuda Triangle and you get zapped into another world, and then you're fighting aliens, and of course your character is portrayed, William Augustus Gray, I think is the name of the guy, played by the ubiquitous Nolan North, and of course, he was coming off of Uncharted and every other game that's out there, so it's just like, oh my god, they picked up some stuff that was just a little too familiar, like some of the cover fire mechanics are ripped right from Gears of War, and then they had some stuff that was kind of sweet, like, you know, air combat that kind of felt a little bit like Crimson Skies for a minute, and then it got a bit clunky and a little convoluted, and you'd lose track of where you were because of the camera mechanics and stuff, and you'd get shot out of the sky, but then you'd land and keep shooting and finding your way. You know what? There was fun stuff in this game, and I think I want to talk about this title mostly because of the ambition of the developers and the desire to build us something really special. Unfortunately, as is often the case in the video game industry, they didn't quite hit every one of their marks, but they did make something that I think stands the test of time. I'm still talking about it in 2018, which does say something. I know we'll never get a sequel to Dark Void, but there was something about it that makes it special. I keep picking the game off my shelf and saying, you know, one day I'm going to make time to replay this sucker. I don't know if I ever will, but until then, I'm still going to classify this one as a buried treasure. Wasn't that cool to take a look back at Dark Void? Like, completely out of nowhere, that game is back in action. Thank you to Xbox backwards compatibility. Man, I love that backwards compatibility. I'm also really digging what Xbox is doing with Game Pass. Xbox posted a glorious trailer for snippets of cool games headed to Game Pass this spring, and it's absolutely insane. They've already blown us away with the Bethesda deal and all of those games that were on that list, but this new list is full of all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of cool-looking indie games that are coming to the service that just look outstanding. Today I've downloaded Narita Boy. I saw that Outriders was in there already, which is launching today. But just check out some of these titles. I mean, like Nobody Saves the World. I talked about that recently. Moonglow Bay. I love this voxel art with this game. I'm digging this Dead Static Drive. The Little Witch in the Woods. The list is unbelievable. The Ascent, which they showed off at a preview event for Xbox Series X not too long ago. Loving that overhead view of Art of Rally. And Undungeon looks like a lot of fun. This one looks insane. I saw this a couple years ago, Sable. I can't wait for that one to come out. And I know my kid is going to dig this Way to the Woods. I mean, really an impressive collection of stuff. And, you know, I know that we are having this discussion right now because of these shops and stores being closed, like the PlayStation stores being closed right now, or throughout the summer. And physical, I think when it works, is usually the preferred method to access a lot of this software, but it's really hard to discount services like Game Pass when they just load up on all of this choice. You know, like, how else are people... Well, there's two things here. There's a lot of indie developers out there that just wouldn't be able to physically publish their games unless they become so successful that a strictly limited or limited run games or what somebody else external, IM8-bit, says, oh look, we want to make a physical version of your game, but that has to be a proven thing, right? And so because the expense would just be crazy, and that goes all the way through, all the way to retailers out there. Honestly, I don't know what GameSpot is doing, or GameStop is doing, with all of the money that it's been making with its stock surges and stuff like that. They should absolutely be just going straight to all of these indie developers and saying, let's do physical deals right now. If they're going to maintain this retail store presence, and so much software comes out exclusively digitally. Like, think about it. Think about how many games we just can access and play because they're downloadable. There's no other way to get them. If GameStop is going to be a player in the physical space, they got to start making the changes that way. I don't know if they will. I don't know if that can really make a huge change for the way their business is going to go. But services like Game Pass are really showing at least a way forward for the future. You know, like the value proposition is insane, and that was just, you know, like a montage of indie games. You know, those sort of smaller price point games, the $20 price point games. You know, where it doesn't hit the pocketbook quite as much as buying a AAA $60 to $90 experience. And a lot of those are included in Game Pass as well. So yeah, I mean, I sat back, watched that trailer, and it's just a flash of all this cool imagery and these creative ideas, and I was once again just completely blown away by Game Pass. I want to hear from you guys though. Are you Xbox players? And if you have an Xbox, do you have a Game Pass a subscription? And if you don't, please tell me why. I really am curious. I really want to know why you wouldn't want a Game Pass subscription. It's insane. It's especially like since the Bethesda deal, it just feels like just a flood of new software has hit the service. It blows me away. I do have a couple of other things that I want to talk to you guys about. Check out this one. This is Earth Defense Force World Brothers, and the publishers at D3 had to send me a disclaimer that this is not an April Fool's joke. This is an actual new Earth Defense Force game, but it's all voxelated. It's all, is that a word? Voxelated? We're going to use it. And you can team up and you can go in some co-op missions. You're shooting down giant bugs and giant kaiju monsters and stuff. Crazy game. It's kind of like a cult classic series. I've got friends that just love the EDF games, but there's a new one coming out very soon. I think it's May 17th was the release date. It's hitting the Switch and the PC and the PlayStation 4. It's called Earth Defense Force World Brothers. And I've got one more to talk about. This one's called God Strike, and this one's coming out in the middle of April. It's hitting it's not the PlayStation, it's hitting the PC, and it's hitting the Nintendo Switch. It's a dual-stick shooter. You guys know I love dual-stick shooters. This one feels like, a little bit more of a fantasy sci-fi fueled iteration or a distillation of what I love in Smash TV. Huge bosses and lots of really cool traps and puzzles and impossible odds to get past. This is my jam. I'm looking forward to this. I hope it's good. It looks like a hell of a lot of fun, though. It's called God Strike, and it's coming out on April 15th. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you especially to all of our subscribers out there. Thank you to our new subscribers. And yes, of course, thank you so much to all of our EPN members. I'm going to be taking a break tomorrow for the Easter holiday, but I'll be back on Monday with a fresh episode for you. So we will see you soon. And until then, play forever.